Many people think they know exactly how making money online for free works. Maybe they watched a few videos, tried a few sites, or maybe even earned a little. But after years of actually testing hundreds of free methods, I've learned that a lot of what people think they know is simply wrong. So in this video, I'm sharing 8 things you probably didn't know about making money online for free, including why 2 people can use the exact same site and get completely different results, and why most people quit right before these methods actually start working better. And make sure you stick around until the end, because the last point explains why so many legit platforms get called scams, and it has nothing to do with them actually not paying. In case you don't know, my name is Mikael and I have tested hundreds of different ways to make money online over the past 10 years, and I've shared a ton of information here on my YouTube channel and on my website. And if you are new to making money online for free, this video can save you a lot of wasted time. And if you already have tried, for example, paid surveys, get paid to sites, gaming apps, or other free methods, this will likely change how you approach them. But this video isn't about quick wins or unrealistic income claims. It's about the real mechanics behind free online income, the things you usually only learn after you have already made the mistakes. So let's go through these 8 things you probably didn't know about making money online for free based on real testing, not just theory. So let's first talk about how most free methods are actually paid for with, for example, data, behavior, or patience. So to understand that, we first need to talk about why you can even earn from free methods, and many people actually misunderstand this. And first of all, I just want to make it completely clear that there are many legit free ways to earn online, but the only reason we can earn from these platforms is that they also are earning at the same time, of course. So you are not paying with money, so they are free in that sense, but instead you are, for example, paying with data or behavior or patience, the time you put in. Or it can be a combination of these. And this is very important to understand, as you will then do it with the right expectations, and it's also easier to then be able to spot the scams. Because you need to understand that when you join free online earning platforms, it needs to be a win-win. You will of course not find a free online earning platform that will just give you money without them getting anything in return in one way or another. They need to make money also. There are no charity website that will just spit out money to you without you putting in some time or effort or something instead. And this is also why, if you, for example, see a platform that sounds great and where you cannot figure out how they can actually make it run, how they make money, but you have great earning opportunities, then it is likely a scam. I have, for example, seen sites say that if you just pay them $1,000 one-time fee, then you will be guaranteed to make back $3,000 per month by watching short videos, guaranteed. And that is, of course, that doesn't make sense. You can figure out, like, if you look at it and say, like, well, that's just not realistic. How are they making that much money? Clearly, the money they're making is only from the fees. They're not making that much from these small videos they make you show. And then you can see if the site doesn't have a legit business model, it's likely not a legit site, because legit sites have a real business model. If not, they would go out of business and they wouldn't be able to pay you. So the reality is that, for example, survey panels or companies, they pay you for qualified consumer data. This is used for market research, for example, and market research is valuable for companies and organizations that want to improve their services. But they need proper data, and you get paid for sharing this data, your opinions with them. And if we talk about gaming apps, they don't as such pay you for playing, they pay for your attention, they pay for the ads you watch during the games, they pay you for trying out the game, so they hope that eventually maybe you will invest in the game. So it is kind of a way to promote the game, and because you pay attention to that, so you kind of pay with your retention or your patience like this. And if we talk about, for example, data entry or AI training, they pay you for your effort. You put time and patience into helping them improve their products. So all these platforms, of course, always need to get something in return. And that's important to understand. But there are many great ways to earn without investing any money. But of course, the platforms also need to get something in return. Next, we need to talk about why 2 people can use the exact same free online earning platform and, for example, earn 10 times different amounts. Because this seems to confuse a lot of people, but one of the main reasons for this is the country tier, the country you live in. Because, for example, if we talk about paid surveys or gaming apps also, there are just some advertisers or some companies, they just get more out of information or running ads in some countries, and therefore there are more opportunities there, they are willing to pay more. So what will affect this is, first of all, your country, also your demographics, also profile, how much do you actually complete your profile also. Sometimes the device, whether you use mobile or desktop, can also affect your earnings. Also, how consistent you are, because some platforms, they actually silently prioritize reliable users. So it's important to understand that two different people can earn very different amounts. And sometimes people say, when I show some earning proof in a video and say how much you can earn, they say, oh, I cannot earn that much, or I've earned a lot more. And that is exactly my point, that sometimes you will just not get the exact same results. And it has nothing to do with discrimination. Some people that maybe live in a country where they don't get that many opportunities, a high paying service, for example, they feel like it's discrimination, but it is actually not, because we can get paid to take surveys and do other free tasks because it is used, for example, for market research, and it's valuable for the companies, as I just explained previously also. And if it wasn't valuable for them, they would just be wasting their money, and they are not charities. So naturally there will be more paid service, more paid offers in some countries than in others. But if you, for example, live in a country where there are not many paid surveys or paid offers, then the best you can do is to stop using your country as an excuse and stop blaming the different platforms. Then use other earning methods, because there are hundreds of free ways to earn online, and there are methods that will work no matter where you live. So just focus on finding those instead. Third point we need to talk about is that most people quit right before the methods start working better. Many people really misunderstand this, because they maybe join a survey site, they try 1 or 2 surveys, they don't qualify, they just skip it, say it doesn't work. But get paid to sites and survey platforms, they often give better access after usage patterns are actually established. So that means after you have used it for a while. So first, you can kind of see it as the system is learning to trust you in a way. And that's why when you're first starting, it can look very different from week 4, for example, if you actually still just keep putting in a bit of time and effort. So that's why when you start working on some platforms, it takes a little bit of patience at first, so you won't see the best possible results right away. This doesn't just go for side hustles or free side hustles. It also goes if you're trying to build a bigger online business or income, because also here, most people give up before results actually come. But with free methods, the results will just come a lot faster than if you're trying to build a full-time income, and you will start seeing results right away, but the results will still become better over time, because you do need first to build up this history there. You need to get to know what works for you and your profile on a specific platform. But some providers or sites that just work also better for some than others. It takes a bit of testing to find out. Sometimes the platform is just not right for you, and then you can move on, but you always do need to put a little bit of time and effort to figure this out. I'm doing my best here on my channel and on my website to give you as much information as possible to then find the best platforms, but you still then need to build up this history and find out exactly what works best for you. Next thing we need to talk about is most videos you, for example, see that says something, earn X amount per hour, they are mathematically misleading. Because, for example, you have probably often seen a video with earn $50 per hour for surveys on this site or something like that. And the reality is just that usually with free methods, it does not make sense to calculate an hourly rate. And it's because the amount of opportunities will vary and it's not always consistent. For example, I have once earned $75 for a 30-minute user test, but this is not something I can do all the time and not something I can do all day. Maybe once in a while I get a test like that. But I have to be lucky to qualify for a test that pay that much. An example for this is, for example, the game testing platform Playtest Cloud that pay you to play games. And you can see here it says that generally a 15-minute play test will reward you $9. And then I've seen videos saying something like earn $36 per hour testing games or playing games. And well, theoretically that is true, but it's also very misleading because first of all, you will not just be able to sit down and say like, now I just test for 5 hours and then I earn $36 per hour. A test might only last 15 minutes in most cases, and you might only get one test per week. So you can't really calculate an hourly rate like that. Then you will likely just get disappointed, and that's important to understand so you don't just fall for the hype that you will see in many places online. Next, we need to talk about that free methods are not scalable, but they are leveraged. And what do I mean about this? Well, first of all, always when it comes to making money online, as I mentioned many times, it's important to do it with the right expectations. And you cannot scale surveys or most other free online earning methods. So it's not that I can start earning a bit from surveys. Well, you can scale it in a bit when you get used to it and become better at it, but it's not where I can scale it to a full-time income or anything like that. But what you can scale if you are interested in scaling it, for example, to something bigger, is what the methods give you. For example, you still get skills, you get an understanding of how it works to make money online, you get capital, you actually start earning without investing. You also get confidence, you can see that it's actually possible to earn online, so it's also proof of concept. And free online earning methods, they are great for side income, but you cannot scale beyond that for most methods like this, and that's very important to understand. But it can be used as leverage to scale beyond that if you are interested. If you're just interested in making some extra money on the side, then these three methods are amazing and really great because you can start earning right away without investing anything. But I also just sometimes see people, they start surveys and they expect that it can build into a full-time income, and that's just not realistic. But when I, for example, first started earning online, I used my earnings from free methods. I started with paid service actually, and then I started reinvesting into learning more about affiliate marketing and investing in some tools, and this helped me to then eventually grow my online income into a full-time income business. This is not for all, but it is an option, and it's important to understand the advantages but also the limitations of free methods to focus on the right things for you. Next, let's talk about the mistake it is to try to use too many sites at once. In one sense, this is a little bit counterintuitive because most people, of course, think that if you join more sites, you will earn more money. And there is also some truth to this, but it's not that simple, because the reality is that if you just keep switching, it also can kill the efficiency if you just jump from a site to another. In my experience, if you're just brand new to making money online and want to use free methods, it's best to start with, for example, 5 to 7 platforms. Get to know them, put some time into them to master each of them. Also, as I talked about earlier, you need to put in a bit of time to build up the history there and to get to see results. So in my experience, daily routines, that beats that you're just randomly checking 50 different sites when you're first joining. Later, once you get used to it and everything and build up your profile, find out which platforms works best for you and all these things, then you can add more options later. But I often see people starting and then joining, for example, 20 service sites and 10 data entry sites, and then just trying one thing for 30 seconds each and then giving up and saying it does not work. I actually have sometimes gotten comments and said, I've tried everything you do, I've watched all your videos, and just like, well, I have more than 1,500 videos where I talk about hundreds of different methods. Clearly you have not tried everything, and if you have, it's just like 30 seconds. And even I have sometimes people that I post a brand new method and say, I've tried it, and say, well, it's like been 2 minutes since I published the video, you haven't really tried it. And this just jumping and expecting immediate results, that's often what kills getting actually real results. So people who take the time on each platform to get to know it, to optimize everything, they get better results. But of course, also make sure to find the right platforms, which, as mentioned before, I try to help with here on my channel and website. I actually do have a video where I show my daily routine, what I recommend when you're first starting. I'll leave a link in the top corner there so you can check that out. Next, let's talk about why consistency matters more than time spent. For example, let's say 30 minutes daily. That is better than just taking one day where you try to do 3 hours in a go. There are several reasons for this. For example, some platforms, they reward predictable behavior. So if you are continuously active, they will actually notice that, versus you being inactive for many days and then just active one day. So there's something there that will then give you more opportunities. Also, if you just sit down in one session once a week to sit and work for 3 to 5 hours on free online earning platforms, there's no guarantee you can find tasks for 3 hours straight, for example, depending of course on the platforms you are using and also the day of the week. But for example, if you really want to take paid service and you only want to do it in the weekends, then you sit down and it's like, okay, now I want to do paid service for, let's say, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. But often there are fewer surveys during the weekends, and also there's no guarantee that there will be that many that day. So that's why if you spread it out a little bit, when you're first starting, then you build up this consistency, you will see more results, you will also come across more of the high paying surveys because they might be posted at random times during the week. Again, then later when you get to know everything, then you can start putting different time slots, maybe longer time slots aside. But I would say the most important, if you have limited time, is to try to do it as often as possible. Let's say like 30 minutes a day or something like that. So we also need to talk about that the real danger is actually false expectations. And what I mean about this is that many legit platforms actually end up getting called scams because people do it with wrong expectations. They, for example, join a paid service site and expect to earn a full-time income. And YouTube, a lot of YouTube hype, they have definitely ruined the expectations when it comes to earning online. But the reality is not just these TikTok screenshots you see of earning online and things like this. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that I know online influencers, they have hyped this idea that because it's online, you can easily make hundreds of dollars without effort. That's just not the reality. Also, another thing is that some people, they expect that they can cheat and then they get caught, and when they get caught, they call something a scam. I have, for example, even been called a scammer because I show methods that are not working in a specific country, or because a method did not earn a person as much as they had hoped for, even though I clearly explained what they can expect. So you definitely should be aware of scams. There are many, and I also try to make aware of them here on my channel here. But false expectations, they are often far more dangerous for beginners, blindly believing what other beginners say on, for example, Trustpilot. That can also be an issue, and then you will just end up also not joining maybe legit sites and then joining scams instead, and all these different things. For example, I have seen angry reviews on, for example, a platform like Trustpilot or Google Play or something like that, and people, they get really angry and say, oh, I got banned. And then when you actually look into it, they actually used VPN. They tried to fake their country. They tried to commit fraud. They got angry. They got caught. And then they called the platform a scam. So therefore, don't blindly believe these claims, whether it is claims that you can make a ton of money or it's claimed that something is a scam, if they don't actually explain the details. If they explain the details, sometimes they have good reason to say, like, this is what happened. You can read it from the reviews also. If people just post scam and nothing else, no, you need more context and then put that together. So always be critical when you see whether people say something is a scam or whether they say that it's a great earning opportunity. So make sure not to fall into this trap. So overall, when it comes to making money online with free methods, be realistic, find the right methods for you based on your country, your goals, and your interests, and be willing to put in some time and effort. You can start earning right away with many free methods, but to optimize and get the most out of it, it will take some time and effort. And I hope this video has helped you learn about the best approach and what to be aware of. And if you have any opinions, any experiences, any questions, anything, just please comment below. I love hearing about your experiences, and I reply to every single comment and question. And if you want to know more about free ways to make money online, I do have a list on my website with more than 20 different side hustles you can get started with right away, completely for free. I'll leave a link to that below so you can check that out. If you prefer paid service, which is one of the easiest and fastest ways to get started, I have a list with the best service in many different countries so you can find the best based on your country. I'll also leave a link to that below. And overall, if you just want to learn more tips and tricks about earning online with free methods, I have a free 5-day email course you can sign up for below also. I'll also leave a link to that below. So make sure to check all that out. But no matter what, if this video helped you, make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out next time I'll release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.